Hello, I'm Heather Smith, and I'm really delighted to be here with you at the Successful Bookkeeper Summit 2022 with my presentation, Apps for Time-Poor Entrepreneurs. I love apps. I love technology. I love robots. I love leveraging artificial intelligence and machine learning to do anything that I can automate so I can spend more human time building relationships, working with my clients. So I'm going to share with you today some philosophies, some apps that I strategically partner with, and some practical ideas of how I am using the apps in my business, so that hopefully, depending on where you are on your journey, you're going to find a few things that you can take away with you and implement immediately. Okay, so the title of my talk today, Apps for Time-Poor Entrepreneurs. Initially, I want to talk with you through how I came up with that title. So I publish a newsletter. It's called the Accounting Apps Newsletter. It's on the Raza AI platform. And what they do is I have all of the blogs from the accounting apps feeding into the database. And from there, I go in and I curate about 60 articles every few days. And then the robots come in and they do the hard work and they generate a bespoke newsletter for every recipient, dependent on what they have clicked on before. So what you do is you receive a newsletter that's relevant to things that interest you every twice a week about accounting apps. So obviously with the newsletter, I have data from that. And one of the things that I can identify is what are the popular articles and what are the not so popular articles. And so in 2021, the most popular article was Apps for Time-Poor Entrepreneurs. And I knew that that blog heading got the most click-throughs in my newsletter that went out to my newsletter list. And you know what then happened? That the persons who published that, they actually dropped and sort of deleted the article, which is like crazy, hey? But they did actually delete the article. So I then went ahead and I wrote the article. I wrote an article that fit with it using my own content, and I had it published here. So this is a popular website for in here in Australia, because I'm talking to you from Australia, and I actually had that article published talking about apps for small business owners. And as you'll also learn, I am the author of Xero for Dummies. So knowing that this is a really the robots and the analytics told me that this is a really popular heading, I was able to go take it and reuse it for this particular article. But I was also able to use it as a title for this presentation, which hopefully that title captured you in, and you're going to learn some interesting stuff in this presentation. So, but we're not here necessarily to talk to you about newsletters. Let's move on. I am author, as I mentioned, of Xero for Dummies. I've also written Learn Small Business Startup in 7 Days. I've written about 10 books now, which is quite exciting. So let me just tell you a little bit about me before I go much further, so you sort of know where I'm coming from. Well, initially I'm coming from Brisbane, Australia, and I'm in my based here in Brisbane. I'm actually in a new office. So I'm talking to you from my standing desk for the very first time. Very first time I've given a presentation from my standing desk. So hopefully that all works out well. if I'd have known that if I had a standing desk, it helped me dance during the day, I would have got it much earlier. I just never really thought about that. So my background is as well as being a chartered accountant, I'm also a chartered certified bookkeeper. I've written 10 business books, and I facilitate an accounting innovation and technology discussion group. I host the podcast called Cloud Stories, interviewing people in the cloud accounting tech space. I focus on a global forum talking about SMEs, one of them, and then the other one's talking about technology relevant for small business. For here in Australia, I'm the ambassador for innovation for our chartered accountants. And so many of you will be sitting in the USA, and USA Accounting Today listed me as one of 21 people helping to shape and reshape the accounting industry. So hopefully that gives you a bit of background. So I am a certified bookkeeper, and I have been for many, many years, and I kind of sit across understanding the accounting world and understanding the bookkeeping world. I try and steer clear of tax and focus more on accurate quality data that I can use in management reports to advise clients. And you can see there I am at a conference, at a conference in a ball pit conference. So today, depending on where you are in your journey, some of the things you may already be aware of. We have accounting technology out there, and most of primarily the accounting technology I'm going to talk about and the business technology is based in the clouds. And how it essentially works is you can connect it together. So you can think of it as jigsaw pieces coming together, or think of it as Lego pieces coming together. And the data is entered in one spot. And it should, if it's set up correctly and the systems talk well and work seamlessly, that one piece of data should flow to all the necessary areas that it needs to go to. So if, for instance, you set up a new client, that client information should go to their projects, the work projects that you have for them. It should also go to your CRM database. It should also go to your invoicing system. So you should only need to set it up once, but also if you need to update the information, it should be a sort of a one-step process. And how this works is something called API. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about this, but I wanted you to be aware of it just in case this is not something you've come across. APIs, Application Programming Interface. It's a key. So just a key that allows the softwares to talk to one another. So the software either side needs to build the API, and then they connect, open up, and the data will flow between them. And when you have this situation, what you need to check is the security protocol. Well, of course, you want to know which data is going where and the integrity of the data, but also the security protocols in place. So I'm going to, at the very end, talk to you about what to look for when you're talking about technology, etc. But one of the things is that if something is listed on the marketplace, so if something's listed on the Intuit marketplace or on the Xero marketplace, their teams have done a security review of the data integrity of the solution. So very difficult for you as an end user to do that, but there's a lot of confidence if it's listed on one of those marketplaces. And while the software, our competitors, they actually very much talk and cooperate when it comes to the security and the integrity of the data. So that gives you a little bit of assurance there. And so I'm just going to come in and I'm going to talk to you about different solutions, different concepts, different solutions. One of the philosophies when you go to write a For Dummies book is to tell the person one solution, to explain one solution, and from there they can become aware of that and then explore further solutions. So very often I may only be talking about one particular solution, but it may not be the solution that you end up with, may not be the solution that you go and test, but I do want to at least be aware of the concept here. So I am very, very strong on this point. Protect your calendar, protect your time. And I put in place, for me, myself, I use Calendly, but there are other solutions out there. Embrace solutions so the client will book time with you if they need to speak to you. Imagine if I was giving this talk now and some client just randomly called me. It would be very distracting and I would be constantly pulled away from things. So I always want any meetings with a client to be pre-organized and pre-booked in. And the other option that you also have with them, depending on how you build clients, you can actually have it so that those scheduling solutions, some of them offer the ability to collect the payment up front so that you are not invoicing, chasing payment. Get the money up front before the meeting. And there's sort of various ways that you can do that, but Calendly, I know, has that in the solution as well. And the other thing I'll mention, if you book, say, if you book time with me on Calendly, it allows you to set up a workflow. So I can say, we're going to be meeting in 2 days' time. During this meeting, I need you to have this paperwork ready. I need you to be able to answer these questions. And this is how the meeting is going to run. So depending on the different types of meetings, you can set up different workflows. And you can even actually embed a video in there. So depending on how long, maybe just a couple of minutes. So they're receiving something, they're getting extra information constantly. If you're ever emailing someone, make sure they're getting information from it. And they're getting this human experience because they feel that they're really getting a warmer experience, that they know what you're going to be like and they know what's going to actually happen in the meeting. People have told me they feel a lot more empowered by having that process of booking a meeting and planning for the meeting. Because if you're just jumping around accepting phone calls all day or walk-in meetings, it can be very messy on your planning of your day and your schedule. Okay, so this is a concept that came very much came into play when people were going through the lockdowns, but it's something that I've embraced for a while. So it's called asynchronous communication, which means don't expect a response from me instantly. That response may come in an hour or in 2 hours or overnight. But what it means is that I'm going to take the time to respond to it when I have the capacity, when I have the headspace. So there's there's lots of solutions out there, but let me just talk about 2 of them. Slack. Look, I'm not actually even a fan of Slack, but a lot of people use it and I use it myself. And it means that you can have the messages happening and threads happening and conversations happening, and you have to go in, open up the solution, look in there, and can go through and respond to the different conversation threads when you want. So for me, I deal with a number of projects, and a number of them happen in different areas. I will go in maybe once a day or maybe once every 2 days to go in and check what I need to deal with, what I need to know, and how I need to respond there, rather than just constantly getting messages, sort of a tsunami of messages hitting me. Now, the other one that I really like is Loom. So Loom enables me to, very much like what you're seeing here, I'm recording this using Zoom But Loom would very much enable me to have this conversation with you, explain something to you, and even show you in the background a video of your data or my data, and then I can just send it to you, and it comes through on a hyperlink. So you then can click on it and watch the video and get to know what's happened. So perhaps I've asked you to do something and you're not exactly sure whereabouts you do it. I could just send you a bespoke video to respond to you, to explain that to you. But over time, if that was something that was frequently being asked by my clients, I may create a generic video to explain, hi, I'm sending you this to be signed. When you open up, go and look here, and this is where you'll see it. And you'll see on the video me talking through it to help you. People learn in different ways. People absorb information in different ways. And so some of them will want text, some of them will want videos, some of them just are happy with audio. So give them the options with that. Don't tie yourself down to expecting to respond to people instantly. Build in the delay in responding. That is okay. Okay, so this is probably something that you have come across, but of course I should mention it. If you're not doing this, this is probably the lowest hanging fruit in our world, which is receipt scanning. So scan any of the receipts, any of the invoices that are coming in, the solution extracts the data and pushes it into your accounting software solution. And there's various further levels of settings that you can set. So you can actually automatically pull receipts from some or pull invoices from some solutions, and then they can automatically push into your accounting solution. It is a massive, massive time saver to do this. And depending on what solution you want to go with there, you might try one, you might try a few, and then you can also get your clients, obviously do test it yourself, but then get your clients on board and join the partnership program with those various solutions, okay? So the other one I wanted to talk to you about, which kind of builds on from that receipt scanning, is approval workflows. So if you do have a bill, who's going to approve it for payment? As your organisation grows, or as a client's organisation grows, that approval workflow is typically got a lot of rules in place and can be something that sort of can be quite time consuming. But if you have the rules in place about approval levels, who can approve, what can be spent, you can set that up in a solution like Approval Max for multi-level, multi-role approval, and that can again save you or your clients a massive amount of time. You don't want this situation where one person is unavailable and then sort of there's a hold up of approving expenditure, which then could delay the shipment of goods. And there's just this whole workflow that can be slowed down if that's not in place. Of course, you want robust checks and balances in place. This is something that can help you both on the billing side and sales invoice side. Okay, so that's Approval Max. The solutions, but give that one a go. Let's go on from there. Look, one of the other easiest, lowest hanging fruits is digital signature. Oh, and I've spelt it wrong. Not signature, signature. And you know why I've probably spelt it wrong? There's a lady called Joyce Ong. You can go and Google, go and find her on LinkedIn, and she's actually written a song about how she's done it to the Beyonce's All the Single Ladies. She's done a song to that about how she spends all weekend waiting for clients to sign something and send it back to her. And if she perhaps had a digital e-signature in place, that would have saved her a lot of time. So that's quite a funny video there. So what this means is if something that you send out requires an e-signature, you can send it to them and they can, with securities in place, sign it and then send it back to you. The alternative is they have to print it out, they have to sign it, they have to then scan it, and then they have to send it back to you. So I recently, someone recently sent something to me like that while I was traveling. And I was traveling and I had no access to a printer. So I had no access to a printer for like a 3-week period. And the concept of me having to go into a post office or something to print something like that out was ridiculous. The time involved in manually signing something is quite onerous. And if you can move your clients wherever they need to be, they need to sign something, to using an e-signature, you can really save a lot of time. So, of course, there's other ones out there. This is one based just close to me here on the Gold Coast in Australia. There are other ones out there. I just want to give you, give you the thought and the concept of, is there something happening in my workflow that I could speed along and throw something out to think about that. So this is another solution that's quite interesting. And again, this is Australia, but it absolutely will work for you wherever you are in the world. This is all about quality data. And as bookkeepers, that's what we are about, is producing quality data. So it's an AI data quality and workflows tool, and it overlays across your accounting software, and it has about 70 alerts to advise you if something has happened, if there's something you should check. So does something not have the appropriate government number on it? Is something quite a lot different in size than it was previously? Are there invoices that need chasing? And it really, if your client base is growing, putting something like this in place can really assist you in giving you the confidence that you don't need to jump in and check everything all the time, because it's doing a lot of those standard checks for you, alerting you and saving you that time that you can just sort of jump in with confidence. It also assists you in building workflows, and you can jump in and assign things to different staff members as necessary if things need to be looked at. It's also quite, that's a bigger view of it. It's also quite visually stunning. I think it's quite attractive. Some people have said they would prefer it in black and white, but I think it's quite visually stunning there. So that is Expert. I think this is like a 30-day trial, so you could just try it on your own system, see what it happens, see what it throws out. I know the very first time I tried it, within 2 weeks, oh goodness, I found a few $100s in savings immediately because something had been incorrectly registered with the government organisation. So here's another little tool that I like to talk about. This is about time tracking. So there's a massive debate in the industry about, do we track time? Do we value bill? Even if you value bill, you should still know how much time things are taking you. So even if you value bill, you should still know how much time things are taking you. There are a number of solutions out there. This is the one I work in practice, and my practice has always been quite small. And this really suited me quite nicely. It's very much, it allows you, it's a simple solution. It's a really simple solution to set up and start using. So it's called Minute Doc. It's really simple to set up and start using. And you can track time against clients, against projects, against tasks, and you can compile it and push it across into your file as a invoice If you're value billing, you could then use it as a sort of comparative to see, is that working out the way you thought it was working out? So I know for myself, in the early days of my business, people were ringing me. People were ringing me. I would be out, I'd be walking around sort of between clients, and I'd get a phone call. And then I had all of these post-it notes so all over the place. I spoke to John for 12 minutes. I spoke to Karen for 20 minutes. I spoke to Steve for 5 minutes. And it all seemed, goodness, it seemed a little bit scatty. But then what I started to do is I implemented Minute Doc, and I started recording those times, and then I'd review them at the end of the month and send them an invoice. I try and keep the detail in there, send them an invoice. And what happened was sometimes maybe John called me for 5 minutes one day, but then the next day he called me and had another 5-minute call. And then I had an email, and that took about 12 minutes. So now I'm at 22 minutes, and I've actually got something sizable to bill him. So I did find within a month of implementing it, I was increased my overall revenue by about 5% because I had not been invoicing for all of those little bits around the peripherals of what I was generally working on. So for the cost, which is cheap as chips, to actually be able to capture and then invoice for that was really good. And I also found that clients were more receptive to getting in contact with me if they knew that I was invoicing them. Clients can be really good, and they're like, okay, that's great. I'm sending you an email. This is my query. I know you're going to invoice me at the end of the month, or however you're going to do it, and I'll pay, and I'm happy to do that because I want the solution to this, and I know that you have it there. So that was something that very quickly increased my income. But that is time tracking my time and capturing those small amounts. And it's something I still use today. Okay, so we're sitting in our accounting software, and we have data checks in place. We've got the data going in there. And what I like to do is to surface that information so my clients can use it to make informed business decisions. So that's really key. I want clean, timely data so they can make informed business decisions. And so as accountants and bookkeepers, we love Excel. And I highly encourage you to, we love spreadsheets. I highly encourage you to do training in spreadsheets so you know you can explore the various options for manipulating them. So once we go from our solution to spreadsheets, you have G Sheets or Google Sheets. And what this solution, GAcon, will do is it will connect your accounting software to your Google Sheets. So it's not Microsoft Excel, it will connect to Google Sheets. But you can connect it, you can set up management reports, or you can set up whatever information you want, and set the data fields to go to the particular areas, and then simply refresh it. So you are able to get the data out of the software and manipulate it the way you want in the solutions that you love, and simply refresh it, sort of saving you a lot of time. So if you've got clients who are spending time manipulating data, setting up templates like this can really help them, okay? And that's sort of moving you into that area of, and as a bookkeeper, completely, sometimes people think they're not allowed to do this. Absolutely, you are absolutely allowed and permitted to take the data out and manipulate it, and surface that information for them. If, of course, it's something that you like to do. If you don't like to do it, fair enough. So moving on from that, I want to, oh, look, I'm in the way of the logo. There you go. So this is another solution based out of Brisbane. So they're just up the road from me, and they're called Fathom. And so what I call this, it's a off-the-shelf reporting solution. So you're going to go be able to plug it into your accounting software, and with minimal effort, you're going to be able to set it up, and you're going to be able to get forecasting out of it, KPI comparisons out of it, benchmarking, and get sort of more in-depth information in front of your clients, and assist them in understanding how their business is operating, assist them in planning for their business, and planning for business decisions. So again, this is back to using quality data to inform future decisions here, okay? And it's visually, again, another visually stunning, beautiful solution, okay? So that's Fathom out of Brisbane, but it's worldwide solution, and they've got worldwide support base. There are other solutions similar, comparable to Fathom. I'm just sort of showing you ones that I'm aware of, that are strategically partnered with or are close by, so you can get you on that journey. Okay. And this is one of my favorite ones, which is, I think it is the it's the water flow from the bank account to the I think it is the profit. Well, this looks like the cash flow water flow. So what's in your bank account versus what's in your profit, and what the difference is there and what's caused it. Okay, I wanted to throw a few more things out there for you to think about. Now, a number of bookkeepers are exploring the options of focusing on e-commerce. And when you move into that e-commerce world, you will realize that you have reconciliation issues between your Amazons, your Etsy's, your Stripes, into your accounting software solutions. And there are a number of solutions such as Cinder who are out there, and they are going to assist you massively with these reconciliations, because you have a large volume of e-commerce solutions selling, and you get to reconcile them and sort of push the summary data into your accounting software. Number of solutions like Cinder out there, but that's one of the ones. It's after Cinderella, who would sweep up the mess. That's why it's called Cinder. And it assists you with those large volumes of reconciliations on that e-commerce side. And maybe you've heard of Chargebee. So this is a really interesting concept, and you'll always have some clients that interesting to have a conversation with them. So Chargebee is going to assist you with subscriptions. So if you have a client who is exploring subscriptions, or potentially part of their business is exploring subscriptions, then Chargebee is a potential solution for you that will automate this, automate the whole bookkeeping side of the subscriptions. So subscriptions is if you're watching the news at the moment, lots of things are coming out in subscriptions. The Peloton has a subscription model in that you can't use it unless you buy a subscription. People are buying like rings, the Aura ring, and that has a subscription on it. So it won't work unless you pay the subscription. I heard the other day that there's a luxury watch subscription. So you get sent a luxury watch every month to wear, and then you send it back to them. You also have subscription boxes. So you get I used to get that. I used to get a beauty box every month. I didn't know what was coming in it, but just sort of random things. So it may be some businesses are going to simply set up, and that's all they're going to be. So software as a service businesses. So any businesses out there who are selling software as a service are a subscription business. So they're perfectly suited to something like Chargebee. But you may have clients who exploring the subscription option may be an additional product line for them. I even had one lady who she made those tiny little buttons, well, not tiny, but she made buttons for quilts. And so you signed up and you got sent a button every month. Which, I don't know, to me sounded bizarre, but she had massive business. She had a massive list of people, and she would create a button every month and send that out. And something like Charge Me in Place would have automated all that billing side for her, the collection of the money, the processing of it, etc. Okay, so a few things in e-commerce to think about there. Let's go on. So I also wanted to talk to you about sort of some other robots out there that may be able to assist you. So one of the things that when you're working with clients, you may simply want to talk, but you want it converted to text. I actually had a friend of mine who broke her arm, and she actually had to do this during the busy season. So there are a number of options to do it. Google Docs, Microsoft Word, and there's a Chrome extension called Voice Chrome extension. I also wanted to talk to you about writing robots. So I, as you know, as I've mentioned, have written 10 books, but I do leverage artificial intelligence and robots to assist me in my writing process. So I'm going to pull off here, there. Okay, so depending on what platform you're using. So if you're using G Suite, search for Smart Compose and make sure you have all of the options there activated for your artificial intelligence. And again, if you're using Microsoft Office 365, make sure you have text predictions set up. So sometimes you actually have to jump in and actually activate them. But what it means is as you're typing along, it will finish the end of the sentence for you. And you can see, oh, it's finished. And then you just have to press a tab and it finishes it for you. It learns the way you write. It sort of makes sense of typically how you're going to finish it. Maybe it's just something like a kind regards at the end of something. But I do find that it will pick up maybe the last 5 words of a sentence of what it kind of knows what I'm going to write before I even write it. I love the Word Tune app. And if there's only thing that you pick up from today, pick up the Word Tune app, and you can try it for 7 days for free, but I pay for a subscription for this one. What it is a sentence spinning app. So you know how sometimes you write a sentence, but it just doesn't flow. It's just not the exact sentence. It's not explaining what you want, but it's kind of got everything in it, but just it's not right. It's not sitting well. You put Word Tune over it and it spins it for you, and it changes the order, and it changes some of the words used. So it flips synonyms in there. And so you put one sentence in and it comes out with about 10 different options, and you can read through and go, oh, written like the third option or the fourth option is so much better than that first option I had. It's such a useful tool. Oh, use it every day. If you have read anything that I've written, frequently people say, wow, it's really clear. You make a lot of sense. I'm talking about a dry topic, but Word Tune's helping me. So hopefully it can help you too. So the other one I've got here is Writer. Now, I'm not recommending Writer, but what I'm doing is making you aware of these tools out there. There are a number of different options out there, and the one that I'm currently using is called Writer. And what it will do is you go in and you say, it's World Ageism Day, and I want to say how young people inspire me. So you put sort of some context in there about it, and it will then it will then produce about 3 small paragraphs of suggestions of different ways you could write about that. So you tell it, you give it a brief explanation of what you're trying to do, and it's going to give you suggestions. And there's lots of different ways. So it might go, suggestions suitable for an email, suitable for a blog post. It might give you a structure for a blog post. It might simply be a blog title. So you have the option to put in the information of what you're trying to say, and then put in what you're trying to get out of it. And then it's going to come out with various things. So I don't rely on it 100%, but what I do use it for is brainstorming something. So if I'm writing a blog post, it helps me brainstorm that blog post, which that's useful. And it also, maybe you've been out on the internet and you're reading something, you're like, gosh, this is phrased weirdly. This is bizarre. What's going on here? It's because it's been written by a robot. So it's the writer is like a writing robot, and someone's not properly filtering it. So when I do it, what it does is brainstorm, it inspires me, and maybe I pick up a sentence, but other people are just using it to write their entire article. So I'm not suggesting that absolutely at all. But it might help inspire you, especially if you're sort of a smaller business, and having people around would help with that. Okay. So just a few more left. Okay. I'm sure in terms of proofreading, you have heard of these, but I just did want to highlight them if you haven't. Proofreading, Grammarly, Hemingway app. I don't recommend using them both at the same time. Just choose one or choose the other. It's only if I've got something extraordinarily important, I'll put it through both. I also suggest, if you need something proofreading, listen to it, like depending on how important it is, but if it is quite important, listen to it out loud. So I've given you both of the options for Microsoft Word and Google Reader there. Listen to it out loud. Does it make sense? Sometimes simply listening to it out loud will help you identify whether something needs fixing up or changing it there. So in terms of marketing, see, I'll move to the side again. Oh, Canva. Have you discovered Canva yet? So I made this presentation in Canva. It's a beautiful, beautiful, intuitive platform. And I actually, for the most part, can completely use the free version. So there's nothing stopping you going and getting it. I decided to subscribe to it simply because I was using it so much. And I was like, well, I'm now... I want them to keep improving. And if they're going to keep improving, they need money. So that's actually the only reason really I subscribe to it. So good. So you can see that this presentation has been quite visually stunning, lots of different shapes, etc. here and there. You can use it for your social media. You can use it for presentations. If you need to make up like a certificate at work. If, say, you were doing a blog post, you can actually go in and say, I'm doing a blog post and I want an image for a red robot in the sun, and it will actually generate, using artificial intelligence, a red robot in the sun for you. And it will give you multiple options, and you can choose one of those. It also allows you to embed video, and it really helps you in the design. Of course, if it's a very important design, you go to a graphic designer, just like if it's a business, you want them to properly use a bookkeeper, even though that they might be able to do some of the little bits themselves. So if it's quite important, go to a designer, but Canva will help you for all those smaller ad hoc things, and I leverage that very much. So also I want to mention BOMA, which is self-drive marketing. So what this will do is, if you want a really nice website and sort of want a social media presence, but don't have the capacity to write articles or have that volume of content behind you, what you can do is subscribe to the BOMA, and it develops on a constant and regular basis a library of relevant content that you go into the platform and you go, okay, this article is relevant for my clients now, and you can, everything is linked up, so then you just can click and you can publish it on your website. You can choose images from their library to go into it. And you can also go in and slightly edit it to give it, or you can edit it as much as possible to give your own view on whatever the content is. You can use the content to go out to a newsletter. you can use the content to go out to social media. So yes, other accountants, bookkeepers may have the same content as you out there. But if you think about it, what it's giving you is the ability to have a nice website with a nice number of resources on it. And say, for instance, I'm thinking I'm in a different industry and I'm looking for a vet. And I'm going and searching and I find 6 vet websites. The vet website that actually has a regular blog that has some relevant information on it makes me think that they're tech savvy and they're going to know what to do. The vet website that hasn't been updated for 5 years and started off with a few blog posts but didn't, I'm worried, are they even still in business? And it's just those sort of slight things that can sort of help people along the way in terms of choosing you as their as the business they want to go with. You can still complement it with your own content if you have that capacity, but if you don't, it's a great way to have those resources on there. And sure, if you look for enough vets, you're going to find another one with the same content as if the vets are using a library of content like this. But it's still reliable, useful content that can help me make a decision about, am I committed to go to, am I keen and interested to go to that business? So that was Canva and Boomer Self-Drive Marketing, and they're actually based out of New Zealand. So this is, I'm going to see if I can shrink myself down for this. I'm going to shrink myself down so you can take a big photo of that. Look at that. But you didn't realize I could shrink myself down like that. These are in alphabetical order what to look for when choosing an app. So take a screenshot of this, and when you do go to choose an app, check off all of those things. I'm not going to go through them now. There's lots of things to go through. But what is important to you? For me, the most important thing is support. The most important thing is support. But what is important to you? And so you may go, okay, all of these things are important and I'm going to do an assessment on all of them. Or it may be different elements. You may go, okay, security of data, really important. But I'm not too interested in they don't have a partnership program. I'm not too worried about that. Something like that might not bother you too much. Okay, so hopefully you got a screenshot of that, and that can help you in choosing an app. So I'm going to go to the next one. Okay, I'm going to make myself bigger again. Here I come back. Woo, I'm back. There, I'm bigger again. Here are a few areas for you to get resources. Your peers. Apps.zero.com, apps.com, which is the Intuit site, and AppSumo sometimes has some really good tech pieces. But goodness, it's like a rabbit hole. You just get lost in there. There's so much exciting stuff happening on there, so you have to be really careful about whether you go there or not, because you suddenly find it's kind of like, I don't know, an IKEA shop. You find yourself wanting stuff that you didn't know you even wanted or needed. And look, the last thing I wanted to mention to you was in terms of the apps for the time poor entrepreneur, I wanted to talk to you just very briefly about automating your mood. And you can use your Hey Google or Hey Siri workflows. So your Google or your Alexa or your Siri workflows, and you can set them up to do things like change the lights in your office, change the music on Spotify, turn on your infuser so it's got some nice scent coming out of it, and even set it up so you have a work sprint happening. And so this is my work sprint. This is how I'm going to work during the work sprint, and it may last for 20 minutes. So lights change, atomizer changes, the music changes, but it's all set up through a workflow. And then when it ends, you can then, okay, I'm out of that zone and I'm moving into a different zone. So I wanted to throw that out to you. I have smart devices that help me do that, but you probably explore what is in your area that's available to you. Thank you so much for listening to me today. Really appreciate it. I hope you found a few gems in there that you've not heard of before. Thank you so much for having me on the Successful Bookkeeper Summit. Please connect with me. So you can find me on social media at Heather Smith AU. I'm on all the platforms, so you can find me there. I'd love it if you joined up with my newsletter or listen to my podcast, Cloud Stories. Let me know if you do have any questions. Just connect with me and ask me any potential questions that you may have. Thank you.